Back here in Salt Lake City, it's 17-14. Utah State leading Utah. Justin Kutcher alongside Petros Papadakis. And Petros, we came onto the air tonight talking about the quarterback for Utah State, Chucky Keeton. We said this guy is a Heisman candidate. He has not disappointed so far.
No, he showed it to us, and he showed it to us throughout the entire first half. What it was right off the bat was leadership. You see him directing traffic. They call run plays for him. Here's the zone read. Now notice, nobody gets a clean hit. He gets down before he takes a big shot. Here again, no clean shot, positive yardage. He's been very slippery in the game. He guns one there to Swindle. So you see the power of the arm, again to Swindle. But that's a touch pass, and of course, a hero pose that Cletus would be jealous of.
So as far as these receivers coming into this game, that was the question mark for this Utah State offense. Their offensive line, they all returned. Chucky Keeton, he was there, but the receivers stepped up.
Yeah, they did a great job, and he did a good job of distributing to people. There's Joe Hill, the running back, getting it on the perimeter. This guy stepped up in the first half. Van Leeuwen took a big shot there. Keeton with a really nice throw to Nat, the scat, old Matson, who's the little guy out there. Reynolds makes a catch. Just great distribution all over the field. Finds another backup running back, and there's a touchdown to Swindle, the second one. Helmet comes off. A great job by Chucky Keeton distributing the football and being a leader. Didn't disappoint at all.
Here in the second half, Utah will kick off to Utah State. And this will sail out of the end zone for a touchback. And let's check in with Christina Pink, who caught up with both coaches.
Thanks, Justin. Just talked to Coach Whittingham. He said on that last touchdown drive, they were too soft defensively against Chucky Keeton. He said we have to get more pressure on him. Offensively, he said we have to move the chains, find some consistency. We had 2 long touchdown drives and not much else. When I talked to Coach Wells, he kept it simple. He said we have to stay aggressive, keep running, and protecting the football. Justin?
All right, thank you so much, Christina. And now it's Utah State with the ball to start here in the second half, after they scored that touchdown towards the end of the first half. On first down, it's a handoff to Joe Hill. And Hill up to the 28, picks up 3. Look at the first half stats, some good numbers offensively for both teams. Look at that, Utah State with 301 total yards in that first half. Third downs, a big number, 8 for 11.
And it's a problem for Utah. They have to do better on third down on both sides of the ball. Time of possession, pretty even.
On 2nd and 7, empty backfield. Keeton, delayed draw. And Chucky Keeton to the outside will run out of bounds at the 47-yard line.
And we were talking about Russell Wilson. They have a bunch formation out to the right. A lot of room for Chucky Keeton, a very light box. And look how he doesn't get hit. That's something Johnny Football is great at. Nobody gets a clean shot.
Hand off to Hill. Hill takes it up just shy of midfield, picks up 2. VJ Fehoko on the tackle. Chucky Keeton here just beyond one half a play, 202 yards in the air, 56 on the ground, and 2 touchdowns.
And it's not that the Utah defense has not played pretty well in this game. It's that Chucky Keeton has been excellent.
2nd down and 8. Keeton to Natson. And Natson trying to get around Trevor Riley. Can now put a flag on the play.
The hustle of Trevor Riley, almost as impressive as how good Chucky Keeton has been and efficient in this game.
Personal foul, crackback block, number 7 offense, 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Check out Trevor Riley here and the hustle that you see. This guy is all over the field at all times, sets it up there, almost gets cracked by his own player, stays after it, leaves his feet, which he's great at, and makes a play.
Travis Van Leeuwen called for the penalty. Another 15-yarder against Utah State. Now 2nd and 24. Keeton comes near side, completes it to his tight end, DJ Tialavea. Keith McGill forced him out of bounds, a pickup of 8. Third and 16 coming up.
Big play. They have to watch out for Keaton scrambling.
Empty backfield again here for Utah State. Keaton completes to Hill. Hill across the 45. Looks like he's right near that first down marker at the 43. Keith McGill with a tackle, but it will be enough for the first down.
Starting tailback on a slant. Pretty impressive. A lot of room. Very soft on that slant.
Now it's a handoff to Hill. Hill with a great cutback. Marked down at the 30, picks up 13. So 16 on the pass, now 13 on a run.
And you're going to see Hill, what he is nifty. A nice cut there, gets his hips around the block, falls forward. Good play, and he is getting stronger as this game goes on.
I love what Chucky Keaton said about Hill. He's quieter than most fast guys. Doesn't talk as much.
Now they've definitely gotten him out on the perimeter. How about that slant? That's impressive.
First and 10. Keaton, the pump fake, coming back this way. Has his man open, but it's broken up by Keith McGill. Was looking for DiMartino.
Really getting the running backs out on the perimeter. DiMartino had to turn around to get that ball. Chucky Keaton would like to have it back, but a great job of selling out, just trying to get involved by Keith McGill, who never played corner before this game.
Second down and 10. That's a couple of passes now we've seen from Keaton underthrown.
He's human.
Keaton across the middle, completes again to JoJo Natson for the 15-yard completion. And another first down.
And this distribution has become even better in the second half.
Keaton keeps it. Keaton inside the 5, diving towards the end zone. Touchdown.
Great block from the receiver, number 7, Travis Van Leeuwen, who gets in front of Keaton there on McGill. And Keaton, instead of walking out of bounds, and he may have stepped out, has a nose for the end zone and dives for it. Maybe with that left foot, he steps out, but look at that desire. Looks like he's into me.
Wow,
what
you can still see some green. 15-yard touchdown run by Chucky Keaton, and Nick Diaz on for the extra point. And that is no good as Diaz pulled it. 23-14, 20 unanswered points by Utah State. The 15-yard touchdown run by Chucky Keaton. Chucky Keaton being stretched out on the sideline after that 15-yard touchdown run. 10 plays, 75 yards. 20 unanswered here by the Aggies. Jake Thompson. Short kick, James Poole takes at the 4. And Poole slips a couple of tacklers. Still on his feet. And Poole is up to the 34-yard line. A 30-yard return, and let's go back to Chucky Keaton on that last series.
This is right before the touchdown. Chucky Keaton delivering the ball. Looks like he bats his ankle a little bit. Very next play, even though Gimpy behind a good block, look at the strength to stay in bounds and find the pylon. Again, willing his body back to the right and getting over the goal line. He's shown us all of it.
On first down, the handoff to Poole. And Poole gets up to the 37, picks up 4. Jake Dowdy with his 6th tackle of the night.
We might see more of Poole here in the second half because he seems to be one of the only Utes out there offensively that can make people miss.
Again, Utah playing without Kenneth Scott, one of their top 2 receivers, was injured in the first quarter. Second down and 6. Wilson on the slant completes the pass to Sean Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald is the guy who came in for Kenneth Scott. Another 4-yard completion.
It's imperative that Utah puts together a good drive here. The Aggies have scored 20 unanswered points, and they have been very impressive thus far. The Utes need to do something to answer.
It's Poole on 3rd and 2, trying to fall forward. And he's going to be very close. It looks like it's going to be 4th down.
Tough
B.J.
decision.
Larson.
A nice play by Larson. Poole's getting this series instead of York, and they get to him behind the line of scrimmage, and he's not able to take that one more step with Larson on his back.
And
they got to go for it.
Going for it, and don't forget, you got a 6'6", 240-pound quarterback in Wilson, but he's in the shotgun. It's Poole. And Poole, he will have the first down.
Another great play by B.J. Larson. And that was tough going for the Utes. Again, they have to find their consistency again offensively. And I don't think the Aggies are going to want to spot them those 15-yard penalties like they did in the first quarter, Justin.
Definitely not. First down and 10. Wilson throws, completes again to Fitzgerald for the first down. An 11-yard completion out at the 44 of Utah State.
Good job by Fitzgerald, showing some strength in those hands. And Wilson getting a little rhythm going here.
Handoff to Poole up the middle. And Poole will pick up 2.
What the Utes have to do is get their tight ends re-involved in this football game. They have a strength in Jake Murphy and Wesley Tonga. They need to utilize it.
Second down and 8 coming up here for the Utes. Wilson has that one batted down. 3rd and 8 coming up.
Trying to get to Wesley Tonga. Dennis Erickson knows the best thing he's got going is these 2 tight ends that can stretch the field. But a great job by Maurice Alexander timing it up. Coming on a safety blitz again.
3rd and 8 here for Utah. Bubba Poole in the backfield. The Aggies showing blitz. Wilson gets sacked by Maurice Alexander. First the batted ball, now the sack for Alexander.
And he is playing this game around the line of scrimmage. They're keeping him there. Wilson would have had some good matchups one-on-one down the field, but just not enough time to see it. The safety blitz beautifully timed and executed by Alexander. He's got a good feel for this game. 2 good timing plays.
Tom Hackett on to punt. Natson back deep. And a fair catch called for and made at the 13-yard line. 23-14. Utah State scoring 20 unanswered. The last 7 coming on the run by Chucky Keaton. These Utah fans know how important this game is against Utah State. They have said you cannot lose back-to-back years to Utah State. Well, right now, Utah State, they are clicking offensively. Chucky Keaton has 310 total yards. He has 110 more than the entire Utah offense. Starting from his own 14. Handoff to Hill. And Hill patiently moves up to the 18-yard line, picks up 4. Nate Orchard and Trevor Riley combined for the tackling. Petros, this is a very big series for Utah's defense.
They need to take a deep breath right now and get a stop. You saw the Aggies go down early in this game. They were calm enough to come back, and they kept their bearings. The same thing has to happen here at home for the Utes. They have to find a way to get a stop and then protect their quarterback a little bit better when they get the ball back. Their O-line's been getting killed.
Second down and 6. Utah State slowing it up a bit. Keaton dancing around. He'll throw this one away. The pressure applied by Nate Orchard again.
Very good end play for the Utes in this game between Orchard and Riley. And if Kalani Sitake has something to dial up to get to Chucky Keaton, this is where you do it. Huge third down for the Utes, and they need their crowd.
We've seen this Utah State team on third down go empty backfield a lot. It doesn't look like they're going to do it here as JoJo Natson's in the backfield with Chucky Keaton.
Well, that's like having a receiver back there.
Now he splits out. Keaton is pressured, and he goes down. Latu Hemuli.
Trevor Riley with the penetration. See him standing up right here. Comes in on an inside move, gets an arm out, and that's what allows the sack from Tenney. Great job on a huge down. The Utes needed it.
Palapoi on the sack, forcing a 3-and-out. Jaron Benchroot to punt from his own end zone. Poole, fair catch made at the 48-yard line. Great starting field position here for Utah. The defense did their job. Now the offense has to do theirs, trailing 23-14. Travis Wilson starting from his own 48-yard line. Best starting field position of the night for either team. And this is a big-time possession for Utah. Carl Williams is in at tailback. They hand off to Williams, and Williams busts through. Williams up to the 35-yard line. A 17-yard run on first down.
The Utes trying to get a spark by putting in a guy who's a big leader for them. He had a huge spring, a former walk-on. Nice run by Williams.
And now movement on the line. A.J. Patayali and Jeremiah Tofiono are the two guys who are involved in the movement.
It's going to be the guard, but he was drawn. That's Jeremiah Tofiono.
Offside. Defense number 56. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Good call. So 1st and 5 now from the 30-yard line. Williams again lowers the shoulder. And Williams, as the ball comes loose. And Utah State, they're saying they have it. And Utah State does have it.
This is part of the problem when you bring in a raw back into the game. He's trying to make something happen. He breaks a tackle, and the ball comes out.
Tay Glover right, able to recover it for Utah State. The first turnover of the game for Utah. Both teams now have a turnover.
Real fight for that ball. Williams just still churning his legs, and right before he goes down, that ball is clearly out.
On first down, Chucky Keaton hands off to Hill, who takes it up the middle, up to the 27-yard line, picks up 3. Nate Orchard, another tackle. How about the last 6 possessions, though, offensively for Utah? Punt, 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 halftime, punt, and now a fumble.
The interesting thing is that Utah's supposed to be the physically superior team. They're supposed to be the ones that wear down the Aggies. It's happening in the opposite direction.
On 2nd and 7, Hill and DiMartino in the backfield. The handoff is to Hill. And Hill with a cutback. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. Jared Norris there for the tackle.
The Ute defense has summoned it again, and another big third down headed their way. But Chucky Keaton on third down, that's a tall order too.
Third and 7. The fans here again on their feet. Natson in motion. The slant to Natson. He makes the catch. Where do they mark him down? Looks like a yard shy. Joseph Smith with a big-time tackle.
And LT Filiaga was just one step away from picking that ball off. Look at number 42, the outside linebacker, just a little late in recognizing that. But the ball never made it to our yellow line before Natson was tackled. And a punt forced by the Utes. A great job by their defense keeping them in this game.
Jaron Bentrud to punt. Bubba Poole back at his 25. Poole, no fair catch, and he gets hit right away. 4:43 to play here in this third quarter. It's 23-14 Utah State. First and 10 for the 26 for Travis Wilson in Utah. Bubba Poole is back in the backfield for the Utes after the fumble by Carl Williams. Wilson lofts it out to Poole, has it go right through his hands. Nevin Lawson was closing quickly on him too.
Well, the Utah defense has done a great job of giving their offense the ball back. That being said, despite the fumble, I think Utah needs to start grinding it out a little bit, try to bring those safeties up and pop something. They need to stay on the field and give their defense a rest. It can't go 3 and out here.
And we really haven't seen the tight ends used much at all since the first quarter.
Or Drez Anderson.
Second and 10. Wilson to Denham. And Denham gets hit hard twice. Jake Dowdy, a pickup of just 1.
The most instinctive linebacker out there is Jake Dowdy. Does a good job of making Denham pay for catching the ball. Brian Sweet out there too.
Third and 9. And a flag is thrown. False start here against Utah.
False start. Offense number 60. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Siosi Iono, the right tackle. And Kyle Whittingham right now can just look on. The frustration, that chip on the shoulder they've had since last year, since this game last year. Now third and 14. Wilson down the field, makes the catch, is Anderson.
They bring the corner, and Wilson recognized the mismatch. They found a gap for Anderson. Terrell Thompson too slow to stay with the fastest receiver Utes have. That's a huge play.
56 yards, and now Poole slips as he tries to cut it back.
Sometimes you can try to cut too hard, and that was the situation there for Poole. But that could be the play that turned Utah's fortunes here. They needed so desperately to stay on the field, and they finally get a big play from their quarterback and their best receiver.
On third and 14 nonetheless. Wilson pressured, fumble, ball is loose, recovered by Utah, recovered by Iono.
That's Tyler Fackrell. Look at him there, the big end coming in. He's big, he's strong, and simply they can't block him. Iono just has no chance. Fackrell puts his head right at the sternum of Wilson and separates him from the ball.
After the sack and a loss of 6, it's 3rd and 16. Blitz again. Wilson gets rid of it. Nick Vigil applying the pressure.
They're just not able right now to protect Wilson for long enough and to get the ball downfield. Bubba Poole completely whiffs.
Quarterback was out of the pocket. Ball landed beyond the line of scrimmage.
No blitz pickup there. 2 guys could have made that sack. Great job by the Aggies.
Andy Phillips now on for a 45-yard field goal attempt, his first career field goal attempt. He was a member of the U.S. ski team. And his kick is good. Drills it. He was wondering how he would respond to a sold-out crowd. He responded quite well. First points in a while for Utah. They trail 23-17. Utah State leading Utah with 2:24 to go here in this 3rd quarter. A 45-yard field goal by Andy Phillips on his first ever attempt. It was set up by a 56-yard pass play to Dres Anderson, who, Petros, you said they hadn't been using him. They finally got a chance to use him.
Well, Utah State opened him up with a corner blitz, and certainly it was a big play and got the Utes back into striking distance. But if they can't protect Travis Wilson any better than this, they're not going to have a chance in the 4th quarter of this game. They got to find a better way to balance their offense.
And now trying for the onside kick.
Did it go 10?
Recovered by Utah. They practiced this yesterday in their walkthrough.
Carl Williams, who just fumbled, comes up with the fumble recovery, the former walk-on. A great call to keep Chucky Keaton off the field by Kyle Whittingham. And they try to get some momentum going. But remember, Wilson must be protected. And they can do that with a little bit of the run game.
On first down, Wilson rolling out. Throws, completes. Sean Fitzgerald all the way down to the 30-yard line. And this crowd is awake.
This is what the Battle of the Brothers is all about. Your brother always has a trick up his sleeve.
Wilson steps back. Again to Fitzgerald. Tripped up inside the 5. .26-yard completion, 1st and goal from the 4. Handoff to Williams. And Williams will get stopped at the 3, a 1-yard run. A.J. Pataiali'i with the tackle.
Isn't momentum a funny thing? And isn't redemption a great thing? Carl Williams recovers the fumble, or recovers the onside kick, fumbles, recovers the onside kick, comes back and has a nice physical run.
2nd and goal from the 3. Williams again gets low, but not low enough. Jake Dowdy, another tackle, his 8th.
You're going to see the stalemate right here at the defensive line. Williams selling out with the crown of his helmet first, and just simply gets underneath everybody and loses his feet.
3rd and goal now. Williams again, touchdown! How good does he feel right now?
Better.
Phillips to put his team back on top by 1. 24-23 Utah. 10 points in 90 seconds.
Pretty simple last play out of a shotgun. Williams able to bang his way in there. He's an emotional leader on this offense, a senior out of Layton, Utah. Really earned this playing time with big scrimmages in the fall. Like we mentioned, a former walk-on. And great relief by the team as they have gotten momentum back.
Give credit to Utah's defense, because it's because of their defense that Kyle Whittingham had the confidence to try for the onside kick.
They were able to force Chucky Keaton off the field 2 times straight after being put in a bad position by their offense. And right now, Chucky Keaton has been watching on the sideline for quite some time.
Under a minute to go here in this third quarter. What a game here on the first ever college football game on Fox Sports 1.
Think we'll try it again.
Jamie Sutcliffe is going to come on to kick. Andy Phillips, we saw him go down on that onside kick attempt. Sutcliffe puts this one in the back of the end zone for a touchback.
Here's the onside kick. The key play that changed momentum. Phillips with a really good approach, and then just flips it forward. He goes down. Wilson with a nice throw on the run to Fitzgerald. Wilson finding his rhythm. Fitzgerald again, right in front of Denham. And Williams finishes it off. The best physical runner Utah has. There's Phillips, the former Alpine skier on the U.S. team.
A difference of halves here. Chucky Keaton on first down with some time. Throws over the middle, completes the pass to his favorite receiver, JoJo Natson. A 20-yard completion on first down.
Chucky Keaton's not going to get rattled. This game's going to go down to the wire with him at quarterback.
On the zone read, he keeps it. And Chucky Keaton with a spin move. Spins up the 49-yard line, picks up 4. Joseph Smith with a stop. And what we're seeing now is Utah State's going back to a hurry-up offense. They slowed it down last time. Keaton, the quick bubble screen out to Hill. And Hill gets tackled right away by Davion Orfe.
Go back one play to Chucky Keaton on that zone read. That should have been a loss of yardage. But he's got a special ability just to fall forward. Third quarter coming to an end here.
We are through 3 here in Salt Lake City.
That's the end of the third quarter.
24-23. Utah now leading Utah State thanks to recovery of an onside kick. They're up by 1. This place is electric right now. Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, a 1-point lead for the Utes. The difference right now is a missed extra point by Nick Diaz. Chucky Keaton on 3rd and 6, empty backfield. Keaton stepping up, in some trouble, stays on his feet. Throws, what a catch! Travis Reynolds.
And those are the plays that just drive you crazy when defending a guy like Chucky Keaton. The Utes do everything right. They get to him, they frustrate him. He gets out and makes a play with his arm, not his legs.
Now 1st and 10. Joe Hill able to run downhill up to the 35-yard line.
Watch the escapability of the 6'2", 200-pound junior. Moving all over the place, gets his eyes down the field, tells Reynolds where to go, and Reynolds got to get way down, almost off the top of his shoes to get that ball and secure it. Great play.
Whistle is blown. Now they're ready for play. 2nd down and 4. Keaton drops back. Pump fake, has some wide open room. Slides as he gets the 1st down, and that's a big difference with Chucky Keaton this year versus last year. He realizes how important he is to this team.
Watches a lot of tape on Russell Wilson. Knows how to play smart. Trevor Riley a little too aggressive there. You're going to see him fly up the field to try to get to Keaton, and that creates the vertical run lane, and it's a gaping one. Keaton knows to take that, get down, call another play.
1st and 10. Keaton under center. Hand off to Hill. And Hill gets up to the 23. Let's check in with Christina about Chucky Keaton.
Yes, well, Chucky Keaton sat on that sideline for quite some time. He's been cramping up a lot during this game. It is the 1st game of the season and a hot, sticky night here in Salt Lake City. But while he's taking his breathers, they're making sure to get him stretched out and keep him hydrated. If you keep a close eye on him, you can see after that last play, he seemed to come up a little bit gimpy. But they are making sure he stays hydrated and working on those cramps, guys. Back to you.
80 yards on 13 carries. 275 yards in the air. Empty backfield again. Hill in motion. Keaton rolls out to his right. Throws, and that is complete to his big tight end, DJ Tiala-Avea. 15-yard completion. Another 1st down. 1st and goal coming up.
Good protection by the Utes, and they freeze him with this end-around fake a little bit. Keaton able to really sprint on the roll and deliver the ball to the big tight end, who had to get up to get it. Not easy to do for those big guys sometimes.
And he is big, 6'4", 260. First and goal from the 8. Keaton, the pump fake, escapes. Chucky Keaton dives forward, and he'll be marked down at about the 4-yard line.
Nate Orchard has played an excellent football game, but Chucky Keaton got away from him. We just heard Christina talking about how Chucky's been cramping throughout the game. There it is right there.
And this is a time where you call timeout if you're Utah.
Nate Orchard's in the right position, but he leaves his feet, and that allowed Chucky Keaton to get underneath him and get positive yardage. I mean, a pump fake and a swim move, spinning all around. And these Utah State offensive linemen, they know how to peel back and keep blocking for their quarterback as he's moving down the field. Tui Pelotu knows it too now.
Craig Harrison, the backup quarterback, warming up. He's going to come in now. Played in 7 games last year. Chucky Keaton, with those cramps, he's going to be battling those the rest of this game. Second and goal from the 4.
Harrison in deep conversations with Keaton on the sideline throughout the game. He's a junior, 6'2", 203 pounds. Tough place to come into a ball game.
Joe Hill in the backfield. Handoff to Hill. Gets chased down from behind by Jacoby Hale. A loss of 4.
Jacoby Hale's biggest strength, his speed. You see him coming off the edge, is able to redirect. Thought he was going to have to go after Keaton, sees the ball, get to Hill, makes a play.
And you almost knew if you're Utah that they were going to run the ball because Keaton was not in there. So they can key in on that tailback. And now Chucky Keaton's back in. Third and goal from the 8. Keaton dancing around. Chucky Keaton still on his feet. And Keaton gets hit out of bounds by Trevor Riley. He's doing all this, and he's cramping.
How about Trevor Riley staying after it? Orchard gets a shot at Keaton. So does Riley, and they both miss him. Good coverage downfield. Chucky still can't see anybody, and Riley stays after it and makes the play again. Really good coverage down the field by the Utes in the scramble drill, forcing Chucky Keaton to take the edge.
Nick Diaz for a 24-yard field goal attempt to give his team the lead again. And Diaz is able to connect from 24. Chucky Keaton is winded. He's cramping, but he's helped give his team a 2-point lead in the fourth quarter. Two-point game, 10:39 to go here in the fourth quarter in this Battle of the Brothers. 45,237 fans here going crazy. It's the first game. You think this game means anything to either of these teams?
It's everything right now.
Poole lets this one go in the end zone, and Utah will start at the 25.
Justin, you talk about the Battle of the Brothers. We got 100 guys on this team over that, both from the state of Utah, both teams.
A Quicken Loans game summary. Chucky Keaton, 375 total yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing. Travis Wilson, he's had a nice game too, but he's getting overshadowed by Keaton. And the defense, Utah's defense is playing great. Utah State's defense is playing well, but all these yards.
Well, that's kind of college football today, and really what it is just trying to get off the field.
Carl Williams on first down takes the handoff from Wilson. And he's up to the 28-yard line, picks up 3, second down and 7. Paul Pucala with a tackle.
The best thing right now that the Utes can do is get a little help for Travis Wilson. He's being overshadowed by Chucky Keaton. Still got to run the ball and be true to it.
Hand off again to Williams. And right there was Jake Dowdy.
A great job by the emotional leader of the defense, the Mike linebacker, Jake Dowdy. You see him right there, number 51, creeping right up through that A-gap between the center and the guard and making the play. Makes it for a rougher third down for the Utes.
Utah just 4 for 12 on third downs. Wilson throws to Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald has the first down. Sean Fitzgerald came in when Kenneth Scott went out. In the last few drives, he's been key.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's going to break one for 80. I don't think he's got that kind of speed, but certainly very good possession, making sure he catches the ball, and he's been there for his quarterback. Travis Wilson is going to need weapons to step up for him in this fourth quarter.
On first down, Wilson the pump fake. Scrambling. And Wilson will stay in bounds and dive forward. Brian Sweet finally brought him down. And they will give him 6 yards on the scramble.
And that's a 6'6" quarterback. Reminds me a little bit of a guy Dennis Erickson had at Arizona State, Brock Osweiler, who's now with the Denver Broncos, backing up Peyton Manning. For a guy that tall, Travis Wilson has tremendous athletic ability.
Hand off to Williams. Williams hangs on to the ball. Brian Sweet tackles him, but not before a pickup of 14.
Williams has a nice hole. What looks like a cross run play to the backside and just comes clean. Really concentrated, Justin, on keeping possession of the football.
This is a guy who was a fullback last year, now playing tailback. 1st and 10. Wilson, the play action, completes the pass over the middle. Denham still on his feet. Dragged down inside the 5, down the 3.
All it takes is a little bit of success in the run game to bring those safeties up and find a spot over the middle. Great job by Denham, who's had a good game.
35-yard completion. Now the handoff to Williams. And Williams is going to be stopped at the 1. 2nd and goal from the 1. Last year's game went to overtime, 27-20. This is Matt Wells, his first game as a head coach. Second and goal, Williams gets bumped, second effort, and he's down just shy of the goal line. Zach Vigil.
And a great job by Vigil here. Look at the will of Vigil. Williams is really getting leg drive. Vigil with field awareness gets that shoulder down on the ground.
There is a player down on the sideline right now for Utah State, right by the third down marker on the near sideline.
Right before the play, he came off and then just collapsed. And it looks like another cramping issue for the Aggies.
A.J. Patayali'i. Temperatures have been in the 90s the last couple of days here in Salt Lake City.
And this is what the Battle of the Brothers is all about. That's about an inch.
A timeout here. Third and goal from the 1. 26-24, Utah State leading, but Utah's right there. Third and goal from the 1 for Utah. Carl Williams in the backfield. Williams on the carry, and Utah State will stuff them. 3 consecutive big plays by the Utah State defense.
Really good penetration on the blast play. Utah didn't want to do anything fancy to try to get into the end zone. They wanted to do it with attitude and will. And the will of the Aggies won over. Coach Wells loves it.
7 minutes to go. Andy Phillips, who did not kick off last time after the onside kick, now is on for the 19-yard field goal attempt to give his team a 1-point lead. He hit from 45 earlier. And the chip shot is good. 3 consecutive possessions for Utah. They've scored all 3 times. They lead by 1. Time now for tonight's Chevy stat comparison. It's a quarterback comparison. Both guys are having very good games.
Well, Chucky Keaton has just been himself, as advertised, just electric, a dual threat, and smart. Travis Wilson has really developed throughout the game and shown some good flashes of brilliance.
Jamie Sutcliffe to kick off. And this will be taken at about 2 yards deep, and taking a knee is Tay Glover right. So Utah State will start with the ball now at the 25-yard line. Scoring drive, 10 plays, 74 yards, a 19-yard field goal, the result because of 3 consecutive goal line stands by Utah State.
Yeah, great stops. 3 times the Utes try to run the blast, and 3 times they're denied at the doorstep. Just very stout, very strong, not getting any ground to what's supposed to be a bigger Pac-12 offensive line.
On first down, the jet sweep is broken up beautifully by Nate Orchard. JoJo Natson nowhere to go, lost 5.
Nate Orchard, who played last year as Bahakafua, changed his name.
Thankfully.
Didn't change his style. It is a little easier to say, but I had to get it out. Just doing a good job of staying after a smaller, more athletic player.
Second down and 15 now. Keaton on the run. Completes the pass to Hill, who got hit hard by Jared Norris.
Nate Orchard again. Look at him coming on the stunt loop. And 2 big hits there on Chucky Keaton. And that's Teddy Palapoulis. Big hit there in secondary as well.
Phenomenal numbers on third down here tonight for Utah State. Under 5.5 to go. Keaton over the middle, completes to Watts-Tanatzen, but it's Quad Chappis who brings him down, brings up fourth down.
Keaton looks still a little cramped up. And that Utah defense getting re-energized by the fact that their offense was able to hold on to it for a little while and give him some rest on the sideline. In the meantime, the longer Chucky Keaton stays on the sideline, the colder he gets with these cramps.
Jaron Bentrud to punts from his own 15. Bubba Poole, fair catch, made at the 28-yard line. 4:41 to go. Utah leading by 1 in a rematch of last year's overtime thriller. One-point game here in the fourth quarter. Utah leading Utah State. If you just joined us, let's catch you up on what has happened. Chucky Keaton, the quarterback for Utah State, 383 total yards, 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing. Travis Wilson, the sophomore, 302 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and a lot of total offense in this game.
Good defense, too, though. Big plays by the defense. A lot of heroes on both sides of the ball for both teams so far in this rivalry matchup.
Each team with a turnover. Poole and Williams in the backfield. On 1st and 10. It's the handoff to Poole. And Poole cuts it back and gets taken down at the 45-yard line. A 16-yard run. Terrell Thompson with a tackle. A difference of 2 halves. Now Utah State moving the ball on each play. Excuse me, Utah.
And they need to run that football and keep Chucky Keaton cold and cramping on that sideline. Carl Williams was in with the other tailback, Poole, and made a great block on that play to spring it.
Again, Carl Williams was a fullback last year. Taking the play clock down inside of 5. Handoff to Poole again. And Poole gets tackled by Jake Dowdy, his 10th tackle of the night. Dowdy led the team in tackles last year with 109. You're at the point right now with 3:45 to go. Utah State has 3 timeouts remaining. Utah has 4. You see Chucky Keaton there on the sideline. This is one of those moments where it's 2nd down and 9. This is the prime time for a stop for Utah State.
And what you'd like to do if you're Utah is have a play that gets at least half of this yardage that you need and keep the clock going. Stay in bounds.
The handoff to Anderson. And Anderson has another first down.
Did you see how he stayed in bounds? Very smart play by Drez Anderson, who's had a pretty good game and shown up in a lot of spots. This is just a simple end around. Poole does a great job and blocks 2 guys on the edge. And Anderson gets down, keeps that clock moving.
3 minutes to go here in the ball game.
What a block by Poole here. 2 for 1.
Stepping up big here in this fourth quarter. Handoff to Poole again. And Bubba Poole up to the 35-yard line. Tay Glover right with a tackle. And now a timeout has been called by Utah State. Trying to...
Timeout. Utah State, their first of the half.
Utah State calls the timeout with 2:30 to go in this game, trailing by 1.
This timeout is 30 seconds in length.
Not a bad debut for college football here on Fox Sports 1, huh? Well, tomorrow we've got more. North Dakota State against Kansas State at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Of course, K-State last year's Big 12 champion. Then on Saturday, got the pregame show starting at 10. William & Mary at West Virginia. Nicholls State at number 3 Oregon. And the nightcap is number 19 Boise State against Washington. Fox Sports 1 is your home for college football all week long. People are excited about watching football here on this network. Parties all over the place. A party here at this stadium. They are dancing at Selwyn Pub. 27-26 with 2:30 to go. It's kept by Wilson up the middle. And Wilson up the 29-yard line. Zach Vitchell with the tackle, and another timeout taken here by Utah State.
Really
Timeout, Utah State.
good call by Dennis Erickson. Hasn't shown a lot of zone read looks at all with his big quarterback. Sort of lulled the Aggies to sleep in that way. This is a zone read, but it's really just a fake end around, and Wilson was going to keep it the whole time. That's a big target running through the contact zone, able to get down without sustaining too much damage. But a nice call to keep the clock running. And this is why Dennis Erickson was hired by Utah, to call plays in these moments and find mismatches. You brought it up earlier, Justin, but the mixed extra point by Nick Diaz is really a difficult situation because they're desperate to get the ball back. There's Dennis Erickson right now calling this game.
This drive, 5 plays, 42 yards, all on the ground. Taking time off the clock. 3rd and 1. It's Wilson on the quarterback keeper, and Wilson has the first down.
Another good block by number 38. You see him, Carl Williams, really just getting into the chest of Terrell Thompson. And you mentioned it earlier, Justin, when your quarterback's 6'6", 240, all he's got to do is fall forward, and they get a first down. That is a pivotal first down for the Utes. And now the Aggies are really on their heels.
Under 2 minutes to go. Again, it's that missed extra point by Nick Diaz. The difference in this game. Poole on the handoff. He gets a yard. B.J. Larson with a tackle. And the final timeout of the game is called here by Utah State.
That's their final timeout. 30 seconds in lane.
1:41 to go. The special teams, a couple of huge plays. First, Nick Diaz missed the extra point, just hooked it, pulled it.
It totally did something to it. It didn't go in. And then, what a great play by Andy Phillips. He's got snow in his veins. The Alpine skier really deking that Utah State front line on the kickoff return and tapping that ball, and it went the 10 yards. What a call by Kyle Whittingham. They're going to remember that one for a long time if the Utes can hold on to win this one.
And Carl Williams, who had fumbled on a great drive by Utah, recovered that onside kick. Then he went down and scored a touchdown. And it's been a different game ever since.
And his lead blocking has also been absolutely imperative for the success of the Utes in this fourth quarter.
2nd and 9. Poole in the backfield. The handoff again to Anderson, and Anderson gets stopped at about a yard pickup. Jake Dowdy with his 11th tackle. The clock continues to run here. 144 yards on the ground. A good sign for this Utah team. The play clock was not running, so they want to reset the play clock here. That's what Kyle Whittingham and these fans were booing about. 3rd down and 8. This is a must stop for Utah State. 25 on the play clock, 1:15 on the game clock.
It's got to go to 25. Are you kidding me?
Coach Wells does not seem happy.
Taking this one all the way down, Utah still has their timeouts. And Coach Whittingham will call that timeout with 1 second on the play clock. Now 54 seconds on the game clock.
Their first of the half.
On this third down, you wonder what the Utes have not really shown yet. What does Dennis Erickson have left in his arsenal to really catch the Aggies off guard? And I would give you two names, Jake Murphy and Wesley Tonga. Find these tight ends over the middle of the field, and that would be the way for the Utes to ice this game.
Do they even attempt to throw the ball right now, because time is on their side, and they're certainly within field goal range if they want to kick a field goal on 4th down?
Yeah, that's also true. But at the same time, you never know about Erickson. He might roll those dice. You can't stop the clock, but catching him off guard is not a bad idea, especially if your kicker, Phillips, has a bum wheel from that onside kick. So a tricky situation. I wouldn't throw it, but Erickson might.
I agree. I wouldn't throw it either at this point with 54 seconds. Utah State has no timeouts remaining. You can't stop the clock at this point. Don't forget, after this game,
you flip it to that tight end, though. I don't know.
Fox Sports 1. Jay Onrai, the birthday boy, and Dan O'Toole are standing by with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, Carissa Thompson. They'll bring you all the scores, news, and highlights you need. Don't miss Fox Sports Live coming up right after the game here on Fox Sports 1. Third and 8 with 54 seconds. You know how they often describe, or they call that first game, or an example, a guinea pig? This is a pretty good guinea pig run here for college football here on Fox Sports 1.
Oh, without a doubt, and it's been a great rivalry game with emotion and big hits and great performances all around, and some very courageous calls in the coaching part of it. Whittingham with the onside kick really changed the game.
The Right Stuff Players of the Game, presented by Academy Sports Outdoors. For Utah, it is that defensive end, Nate Orchard.
And the other, Trevor Riley. These guys have been all over the field, keeping with plays, staying after the quarterback, Chucky Keaton, even after getting frustrated, really playing with fabulous motors, both of them, and willing their defense to some huge stops down the stretch in the game.
And they kept their team in the game when that offense ran into some trouble. The defense came up with huge stops time after time to get that offense back on the field and give them a shot.
If the Utes can hang on to win, it will have been an entire team effort.
A delay here on the field. 3rd and 8. No timeouts remaining for Utah State. Again, the question is, if you're Utah, do you dare put the ball in the air because an incomplete pass would stop the clock?
Well, I don't think you dare. But if you want to end the game now, maybe you do it.
The offensive player's helmet came off. The play clock should have been set to 25 seconds instead of 40. Therefore, we need to add 15 seconds back on the game clock.
That is what Matt Wells was yelling about, and that is huge. So you go from 54 seconds now to 1 minute 9 seconds.
It took a while to sort out. And now, does the play call matter? Maybe you throw it.
James Poole in the backfield. All the plays on this drive have been runs. It's Poole, and he gets stopped.
It was the helmet coming off Trez Anderson on the end around. And it was right before he went down. And for a not only first year head coach, but a first game head coach, to be on top of that and see it, great job by Matt Wells, giving his team a semblance of a chance here.
Again, Utah will run this clock down. The play clock now at 7. They'll run it down to 1 and call a timeout. And there's a timeout taken with 24 seconds on the game clock.
Timeout, Utah. They're second to the half.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Utah State last year, special teams, they could block some kicks. 24 seconds. Do you just send everybody, and if you get called for a penalty, you get called for a penalty?
You got to come after the kick. There's no doubt about it. Now, that's your best chance to turn the tide here in these final seconds. And if you're Utah, you just have to be sound like you practice it throughout camp and just try to get that kick in the air.
6 block kicks last year by Utah State.
Don't forget the length of Kyler Fackrell, 6'5", 245, a volleyball star in high school, number 9 for the Aggies.
Andy Phillips is on for a 38-yard field goal attempt. He's hit from 45 and he's hit from 19. Here comes the pressure. The kick is up, and it's good. What a debut for Andy Phillips.
That's a pretty good acquisition for a guy that's never played in an organized football game before. Nice snap, solid hold, even with the bad wheel. Phillips boots it through.
Kyle Whittingham knows how big that kick is. Andy Phillips was a soccer goalie in high school, then went on to be a world-class skier. And now he's the kicker on this football team, and he is all smiles. 10 plays, 50 yards, 4 minutes and 22 seconds off the clock. And all the plays were runs. And now Jamie Sutcliffe will come on to kick off.
Seems like the conservative approach was the right approach for the Utah offense on that drive.
Taken at the 1 by Glover Wright. Glover Wright up to the 27-yard line, and a heads-up play by Jamie Sutcliffe to keep it inside. Didn't want to kick it into the end zone. He wants some more time to come off the clock.
You either do that or you squib it at him.
Tonight's game is being produced by Jeff Gowen, directed by Rich Dewey. The associate director is Eric Mandia, and our broadcast associate is Alex Olson. Our technical producer, Don Esposito, and the technical director, Dane Crawford. Our stats by Ed Svita, our spotter, Bill Garrity. 11 seconds left. Keaton gets hit as he throws. The pass is complete. 4 seconds left. The clock will stop for the first down. They cannot spike the ball. Last play of the game. Keaton throws it up. And that'll do it. Utah will get revenge and get the victory. Last year it went to overtime. This year it came down to the wire. But Utah, which had the chip on their shoulder all year long, takes this one by the score of 30-26. What a first game here in the Battle of the Brothers between Utah State and Utah. Now let's go to Carissa Thompson, who's standing by as Fox Sports Live starts right now.